The draft is less than a week away, so I got something special for you today. I got a 2-round mock draft, but it ain't predictive. It's what I would do. And let me tell you, I thought long and hard about each and every pick, and there are some trades in here, quite a few actually. So without further ado, let's go ahead, get into this sucker. With number 1, the Chicago Bears, kind of a no-brainer. I'm taking Caleb Williams. You get your franchise quarterback on a rookie deal. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to be honest, at number 2, this one was kind of easy for me as well. The first 2 picks were kind of no-brainers. You know the Commanders, they need a quarterback. We're going with the quarterback. And for me, Drake May is a bit ahead of like a Jaden Daniels. I know Jaden Daniels is currently the betting favorite, though Drake May has made up some ground in the betting market. So, hey, watch out. Be on the look for that. But I personally, I have Drake May as my quarterback too. I'm going to go ahead, snag him here. Now, with the New England Patriots, I knew I wanted a quarterback. I could trade with the Minnesota Vikings, but then what? I mean, they're at 11, and I got Michael Penix and Bo Nix, or maybe I just wait to take that at 23. I didn't like that. I want to come away with either Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy. So I tried to big brain this sucker, because I know if I say I trade down with the New York Giants, then they're going to take a quarterback because I'm picking for the Giants, so best believe I'm taking a quarterback. And then I'd probably have to move up with like the Chargers or the Cardinals to get ahead of the Vikings because I'm the Vikings and I know I want a quarterback. But I won't be able to offer the same type of draft capital as those teams. Granted, they won't have to move back as much, but still. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to trade down, it's got to be with the Cardinals or the Chargers. And me being also the Chargers, I'm like, I want more picks in this draft, maybe. Not necessarily like moving up to maybe get it would be Marvin Harrison Jr. So that was out of the question for me. I was like, maybe I could do get maybe a couple of later picks with the Cardinals and a move up to secure Marvin Harrison Jr., which wasn't out of the question. This was the scenario I thought the hardest about. But that fell through because I didn't like the draft capital I had to give up as the Cardinals. I was like, I don't want to give up a 3rd rounder just to move up one spot. I'm cool. I'm just going to sit here. So, Patriots, I got stuck picking here at 3, getting a quarterback anyway. Alex Van Pelt, if you look at the quarterbacks he's worked with over his coaching career, there's a lot of diversity in their skill sets. So, I'm going to go with my quarterback 3. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. Pick 4, we got the Arizona Cardinals. This is where we have a trade up. Cardinals, this is a team that needs a lot of talent desperately. Like you look along maybe the offensive line, at their playmakers, their defense in general, and you're like, yeah, we need more talent on this squad. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., great prospect, but I don't know if that, just that I don't think will be enough. I think I'd rather get maybe an extra 1st-round pick in this draft and maybe an extra pick in a later draft. So I went ahead. I did the trade here with the Minnesota Vikings. We're going 11, 23, and 4. We're going to throw that. I don't know if Vikings be willing to trade away next year's 1st-rounder. So I'm going for next year's 3rd. I know some people would be like, well, look what happened with Trey Lance. The Niners, they traded 3 1st-round picks to move up. Well, that was for quarterback 3, and that was from 12 to 3. This is from 11 to 4. So, regardless, as the Cardinals, I'm kind of happy to get this type of deal anyway. So we're going to send that trade through. It's the Minnesota Vikings. And just like that, 4 quarterbacks going in the first 4 picks. And if I'm the Vikings, I want to take that swing. If you hit on quarterback, it does so much for your franchise and for your job security as a GM and as a coach. So sometimes you got to take those necessary swings. JJ McCarthy might not be ready yet, but don't be fooled. He's a 1st-round prospect. He's a guy he has the arm talent and interviewed extremely well. Maybe the type of guy you want there on your in your regime. On top of that, he's a guy that's worked in a pro style system last couple of years. He's taken really more middle of the field shots than some of the other prospects in this class. So for me, it is worth it. Chargers, at this point, you can't really explore the trade back anymore. I think you just send in and take Marvin Harrison Jr., and that's exactly what I did for the Chargers. The New York Giants. So, I thought about a couple of things here, maybe a trade down. Ultimately, I ended up settling on wide receiver because this is a team that was very they went out, they got a lot of offensive line talent in free agency. I think it's now time to bring some more receiving talent in there. And I mean, essentially this year is like, remember the Alamo for Daniel Jones. It's his last go potentially. Maybe he shows something this year. But regardless, we're going to take a wide receiver here. Malik Nabers, higher on my board. Rome Odunze is close enough, and I think I like his skill set a little bit better for what they currently have in New York. So I'm going to go with Rome Odunze. I know, a little shocking. All right, number 7, Tennessee Titans. I could have easily just mindlessly clicked Joe Alt. But I like this tackle class enough to where I'm like, okay, maybe we could explore a trade down, maybe get extra picks, or maybe get something really fun. And there are 2 disgruntled receivers out there, one being Brandon Ayuk, and the other, Tee Higgins, who Brian Callahan, I don't know, was coaching last year. So I was exploring. I was like, what can we do here in terms of a trade? And this seems to be decent trade value for Tee Higgins. That's right, we're trading for Tee Higgins, and it's going to be pretty simple. Let's get the Bengals up here. Going to be pretty simple. It's just going to be a swap of first round picks and Tee Higgins. Real simple. Titans move down from 7 to 18 and get Tee Higgins. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Now, this means we have the Bengals picking at 7. We're not going with a tackle. We just traded Tee Higgins. We're going with Malik Nabers. There we go. More LSU receivers, please. So now the Titans, it's going to be fun at 18 because now you have Calvin Ridley, you have D-Hop, who only has 1 more year on their contract, and you have Tee Higgins. Hella fun. Didn't even mention Treylon Burks there. Atlanta Falcons. Would have liked the trade down here, but the teams that could have maybe traded up for like Joe Alt, I didn't necessarily like the trade trade value, the trade back value for the Falcons. So I'm gonna go with Dallas Turner. Feels like he could be the Byron Young for Raheem Morris's defense. I think this is gonna be a defensive heavy draft for Raheem Morris. They went very offensive heavy in free agency. So now Raheem Morris is like, okay, let's get my guys. I'm a DC, former DC. Let me go in on the defense. So here we go. Dallas Turner. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Number 9, we got the Chicago Bears, and I would love a trade down here, especially with now the top 3 wide receivers off the board, and we're gonna get a trade down. So I mentioned with the Falcons, I couldn't find a good trade partner. Part of that was because the team I had moving up or wanting to move up were the New Orleans Saints. This is a team that loves to go out and get their guy. So the trade value here will be 14, It'll be 45. It'll be 150 for pick 9 and pick 75. So we're going to go ahead, send that through. New Orleans Saints, they desperately need tackle help. We're going to go ahead and snag Joe Alt, tackle of the future there for the Saints. New York Jets. Would have been nice if Joe Alt was here. But again, this is me picking for this team. I know people are like, oh man, they need more tackle depth. You got a Super Bowl window of maybe 2 years. Maybe 2 years, at the very least next year. What do you need depth? Like, oh, Terrence Smith and Morgan Moses, those guys get hurt. It's like, you're looking for immediate starters. You're working in a Super Bowl window. You don't have a franchise quarterback currently on the roster, or at least long-term for the future. So I'm taking Brock Bowers. He's an upgrade over Tyler Conklin. He's going to be a starter 17 games opposed to maybe the 5 or 6 when Morgan Moses or Tyron Smith go down. Like, if you really want depth, go out and get someone out there in free agency. All right, I got the Arizona Cardinals. And there's a couple of things I got a plan with the Cardinals. This is our first pick. I'm gonna start this off by getting some edge help. We saw good things from BJ Ojulari, but everyone else there is really more so just kind of a rotation option in like Collins and Gardeck. So I'm gonna snag Liatu Latu, get a true technician that actually has good size there. And now at pick 12, this is where we have a trade because I'm the Broncos. I want a quarterback. I necessarily don't want to take my quarterback here at 12. And now that the Cardinals have all this trade capital, that's right, they're moving on up. They're moving on up. So Cardinals are going to be trading with the Broncos. The Cardinals are going to send pick 27, 66, and 71. That's right. I'm keeping 23. To move up to 12. So Cardinals give away like their first 2 third-round picks. Don't worry, they have another one there. So now we got the Cardinals picking here at 12. The Broncos will be at 27. I'm taking Quinyon Mitchell. The added Sean Murphy-Bunting. That's nice. They have Garrett Williams. I think Garrett Williams is probably going to be working in the slot. So you got to look for that other guy on the outside for this defense. And suddenly I feel so freaking good about this Cardinal defense. I really, really do. Las Vegas Raiders. We're here at 13. And I couldn't really find someone to trade up with. I tried to work some deals with the Eagles and the Packers. Those just kind of fell through. So I'm here picking, and I'm going to be straight up. I want to take a swing. I want to take a swing on something. I could just go with my next corner. But you know what? I'm going to complete the offensive line. I'm going to take a swing on the pure upside of Amarius Mims. Going to come in there, slot in at right tackle. Their Mumford moves into right guard. Or not. He could maybe contend with Dylan Parham, but Parham can play both sides. So he gives you good versatility there. Mims, coming into this year, I thought was going to be a top 10 tackle. Fortunately, that ankle injury kind of like got in the way. He only has 8 career starts to his name, but there's no denying like just the physical tools, the length, the size, the movement skills at that size, and the power. There's no denying that. So we got Marius Mims for the Raiders. Chicago, we moved down, but we're going to stick with this pick, and I'm going to go ahead and snag some edge help, actually. We saw Liatu Latu go. Dallas Turner's gone. Let's go ahead and just take off probably the... Yeah, I'm going to go with Jared Verse. To me, he is the last remaining first round edge player. Like, there's some fringe guys out there, but for me, versus guaranteed top 20, borderline top 10 player, I actually really like his fit for Matt Eberflus's defense. Indianapolis Colts. We know this team likes to trade down, and I found a team where the price was right, and that was the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to give the Packers 15. Packers are going to trade 25, 58, and 202. So Packers are going to move up. We're moving up for a corner. I'm taking Cooper DeJean. Some people will be like, oh, Cooper DeJean's going to be there at 25. Not with me drafting. I love Cooper DeJean. I would take him inside the top 20. So if I'm the Packers, and I like his fit for this defense, he gives us good versatility, whether he can play outside slot or as a safety, I'm cool with that. Cooper DeJean, I think, is the guy for the Packers. So you move up and get him. Seattle Seahawks. This is another instance where I really wanted to trade back. And this one took some finagling to do. I'll say that. But the Eagles, again, this is me drafting for the Eagles, seeing that corners are starting to come off the board. I want to make my move here. And I ended up getting this trade done. It was more of a pick swap. So the Eagles are going to move up to 16. And they're going to give the Seahawks pick 50. Was it 53? And the Seahawks are going to give the Eagles pick 81. So the Seahawks essentially turned their third into a second rounder. And the Eagles get to move on up. So we're going to send that trade through. We're going to take corner number 3 on my board. And I think Terrion Arnold is actually a really good fit for Vic Fangio's defense. There we go. We got a run of corners right there. And you know what? It don't stop. I couldn't find a good trade down for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I couldn't really find anyone who really wanted to trade up for anybody. So I stuck the pick. I want a corner. I think corner is one of the bigger needs for the Jags. And I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is still a borderline top 20 prospect. He's got experience in press, experience in off coverage, in man and zone. He's a very versatile corner. And I think he'd be a good number 2 to Tyson Campbell. So we're going to go ahead and take Kool-Aid McKinstry. And just like that, 3 corners off the board. But before we get to the Titans pick, I got to give a shout out to Underdog Fantasy. When you sign up at Underdog Fantasy and you use promo code Broshmo, they match that first deposit up to $100 dues. Yes, that's right. And just because the football season's over doesn't mean there ain't nothing to play. Shoot, we got baseball, basketball. They do all kinds of sports. So if you want to play in weekly best ball or pick'ems, higher or lower on player prop bets, then check out Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Broshmo when you sign up, and they will double that first deposit up to $100. But please bet responsibly, bet within your means. Tennessee Titans, we're going to take our tackle here. We're taking Troy Fautanu. I think he's actually a really good fit for Callahan's scheme. So you're the Titans, you're feeling good. You're coming out the first round with both Tee Higgins and Fautanu. Bam, I love it. So the tackles have kind of fallen a little bit, but we're going to see a little bit of a run on them right here as being the Rams, top edge guys off the board, top corners off the board. You could make a case for Nate Wiggins, and I thought about that. But I'm going to go with Olu Fashanu. Right now they got Alaric Jackson as their left tackle. I think you could swing for an upgrade there. So here we go. Fashanu to the Rams. Man, I'm telling y'all, Fautanu and Fashanu messing me up, man. Messing me up. Just name-wise. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm also going to stay put here. Thought about going with the center. I love Jackson Powers-Johnson. But I think Talisa Fuanga being here is just really too hard to pass up. I'm going to get him to insert there at right tackle, move Broderick Jones to left. So just like that, we saw 3 corners come off the board. Now we got 3 tackles straight coming off the board. Miami Dolphins, and I'm a Dolphins fan. I knew I wanted to trade this pick immediately. And I know where I'm going to trade this pick. I want picks in the 3rd and 4th round. I'm sorry. The Dolphins, they hardly ever have picks every year. They need to start investing or getting more draft capital. So we're actually going to trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're a team that have shown they're willing to make big moves to go up and get their guy. Think Patrick Mahomes. Think Trent McDuffie. And actually, oddly enough, the Chiefs, they made, I think it was the trade with the Dolphins to go up and get Trent McDuffie. I could be wrong about that, but that's maybe it was the Patriots. I can't remember, but regardless, Dolphins are going to give the Chiefs 21. The Dolphins are going to receive 32, 95, and 131. Kind of wish I could have got better, but as the Dolphins, I'm kind of desperate just to get more draft picks a little bit later, so we're going to take it. And now the Chiefs are on the board. They are moving up. They're getting Brian Thomas Jr. They're going to get some size to that receiving corps, but they also bring speed. I'm a big Brian Thomas guy. I honestly thought if he returned, he would be probably a top 5 or a top 10 player in the 2025 draft. I was that confident of him just growing as a player. So I think he'd be a really good fit here for the Chiefs. Now we have the Seattle Seahawks. We moved down, and I don't think I'm going to go with the offensive line just because the defensive interior talent's really good here. And I'm going to go with Byron Murphy. Bring him in there just to wreak havoc. So there we go. I like it. I love it. Arizona Cardinals. We are not trading anymore with the Cardinals. I feel like we've done enough moves. I'm going to go ahead and take Adonai Mitchell here. You get your big vertical speed threat to complement Michael Wilson. And I feel good. I feel good. You didn't get Marvin Harrison, but you walk out of the first round with Adonai Mitchell, Liatu Latu, and Quinyon Mitchell. Kind of feels like a good draft there. Dallas Cowboys, I'm running this to the podium. Give me Jackson Powers Johnson. Let's go. Like it. Indianapolis Colts, and we trade back and we still get a quarter. We're going to get that Raz guy. If you don't know, relative athletic score. They love those type of guys. And we're going to get Nate Wiggins to add to this cornerback room. Ends up being a good pick. Nate Wiggins probably goes a little bit higher than this, truthfully. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thought about an edge. Thought about maybe a trade down, but I was like, nah, I don't want to trade down. I'm just going to stick here and take Graham Barton, whether he ends up being my center or my left guard. I'm okay with that. I mean, this offensive line was terrible last year in terms of run blocking. You're hoping Cody Mock takes that next step. And then Graham Barton, insert him in there. You're starting to feel a little bit better about that run blocking because poor Rachaad White, man, had nowhere to go. Still made stuff happen, though. Okay, Denver Broncos, we're here. There's quarterbacks on the board. I'm glad we moved down. We grabbed extra assets. Like, Broncos now have pick 66 and pick 71. Hell yeah. Let's go. We're taking Bo Nix. I think he's a Sean Payton quarterback. I really, truthfully do think that he is. All right, so would have loved Adonai Mitchell here for the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, these next tier of receivers, there's a ton of them. Maybe I could just move back. I also thought about taking Drizon Newton, but I feel like that's kind of Ed Oliver, you know. If anything, you want size on the interior if you're the Bills. So we're going to do a trade. And I'm going to have Jim Harbaugh get a little aggressive here. I said I wanted more picks in this draft. But I'm just going to go up and get a guy that I think could complement this offense quite a bit. So the Chargers are going to go up, get 28. The Bills, they're going to get pick 37 as well as pick 105. Okay, we're going to go ahead and send that trade through. And you might be like, who are the Chargers moving up for? Offensive line help. J.C. Latham. Kind of a good bargain. I like him in this part of the draft, the back end of the first round. And he immediately comes in. He will probably overtake Trey Pipkins at right tackle. You know you're getting a really good pass protector, and hopefully he could show a little bit more teeth as a run blocker. But you're coming out of the first round with Marvin Harrison Jr. and J.C. Latham. That's kind of a big win. Detroit Lions. I thought Jerzon Newton perhaps, but I also was like, well, that's kind of a Liam McNeil's role, so maybe not. We saw some of the top interior guys come off the board for the offensive line. Corner, I don't love it. We already have 5 corners on the board. I was like, you know what? I'd rather just take that swing in the second round at this point. Thought about some trade downs. I had really nobody that would move up, kind of, sort of. There was one team, but I didn't want to move that far back because I really do kind of think I like going with Xavier Leggett here. Getting that big body receiver that they're kind of missing. You have speed with JMO. You have just a nice possession guy in the slot in Amon-Ra St. Brown who can create after the catch. So just getting another mismatch nightmare here in Xavier Leggett, I think is just the bee's knees. Baltimore Ravens. Didn't love my selections here, so I decided to trade back. Don't worry, we're doing the second round. So the Ravens, they will have picks. Just not right now. So the trade here, and a big reason as the Lions, I didn't want to trade that far back. But with the Ravens, I felt like, okay, I don't mind trading a little bit back. So we're gonna be doing 36 for 30. The Ravens are also going to give them 130, but the Commanders are going to give them pick 100 and pick 139. So the Ravens, essentially, they move out of the first round. They move down 6 spots, but they turn 130 into 100 and 139. We're going to go ahead, send that sucker through. And now I'm moving up to take a tackle. I just saw Latham go. I think Guyton, he might not be able to start right away, but in terms of length, movement skills, power, like he's got a lot of intriguing physical tools. Kind of showed at the Senior Bowl, like, hey, this is a very coachable player. So I'm gonna go ahead and snag that for him to be the future protector of Drake May. Okay, and I'm gonna be honest. After I kind of like looked at Xavier Leggett for the Lions, I was like, I don't want to move too far back and not get Xavier Leggett. That was kind of the thing. All right, 49ers. Johnny Newton's here. I know this might be a surprise, but like I would love to go offensive line help, but I think Jerzon Newton being here is just really good value. They got they release Eric Armstead, excuse me. And you look at that interior, they got Javon Hargrave. I think he's got another year or 2 on the contract. I think they just restructured it too. But they then have a bunch of guys that they're kind of hoping emerge. Let's just go out and get Newton. This is a team that loves to draft the trenches anyway. Miami Dolphins. I don't love the offensive line talent at this juncture. Like I thought about like Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like those guys in the first round, and maybe I just take an interior player at pick 55. So instead, I'm gonna take a swing at the edge. Would have been nice if Newton was here, but he wasn't. But I'm gonna swing at edge with Chop Robinson. The dude is just an athletic freak, and kind of immediately he just gets inserted into that rotation with Phillips, who should be ready by the season. They brought in Shaq Barrett, who's kind of in his twilight years, so you want to kind of keep him on a pitch count anyway. Then you got Chop Robinson, and then November, December, you get Bradley Chubb back, and you're kind of hoping Robinson usurps Barrett as in that rotation. And then also looking to the future, like Bradley doesn't exactly have an ideal contract. That's kind of the big problem for the Dolphins right now is like they don't have really good contracts with people, and they're gonna have to shed some cap in the next couple of years. So we're gonna take a shot on Chop Robinson. But before we get to round 2, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we had that nice, beautiful football discourse. Round 2, Carolina Panthers. Nah, I'm looking at the board. I'm like, I think I could trade down and still get a receiver I like. I was looking at other players that I might be willing to take, and I was like, no, I kind of want a receiver here, so let's go ahead. We're going to trade down with the team that actually just wants to go and get their receiver, the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills are going to trade 37 and 128 for 33. And they're going to move up, and they're going to take Ladd McConkey. They lost a very, very nice route runner in Stephon Diggs. Now they get one in Ladd McConkey. Got the New England Patriots. I didn't want to go receiver just because some of the guys on the board, I felt like I was like, you know what? Maybe I could just get that guy in the 3rd or 4th round. Like, there was no one really. I wanted speed, but I wanted like really good route running. And I thought about Ricky Pearsall. That was kind of the option I was thinking about here. But then I was like, is he going to be someone that can play on the outside? Probably full-time. I mean, he could probably be that like Z wide receiver, and you could just have him off the line of scrimmage in motion. But ultimately, I was like, you know what? Let's get that tackle of the future. We've already seen a run on tackles in the 1st round. I want to be kind of the first guy in here to just go ahead and snag a tackle. So I'm going with Kingsley Suamataia. Honestly, probably could challenge for left tackle immediately because they have got McDermott there. So like, and maybe Kingsley could just get by on like athleticism and length and strength. But in terms of technique, he is very, very raw and definitely needs to polish up a little bit. But we're gonna snag him here because honestly, he's got 1st round upside. Like, I think he was a 1st rounder at the beginning of the year for me. And going through the season, like, yeah, he's still a bit raw in terms of how he moves his feet, where he puts his hands and whatnot. Arizona Cardinals, I'm going to stay put here, and I'm going to go with a player that I'm high on. He's not going to go this early. But again, this is me drafting against me. So, yeah, I kind of want to make this move. I still think he ends up in the top 50 or top 60. I love Mason McCormick. Whether he ends up playing guard for the Cardinals or if he ends up playing center, those are essentially 3 spots you need. You're probably like, okay, you got Hernandez at right guard. Wilkins is like fine enough at left guard. And Froho, you're probably looking for an upgrade at center. So McCormick probably plays center early for the Cardinals in this scenario, but he could definitely challenge at left guard. Okay, we got the Baltimore Ravens, and a big reason I didn't take tackle. They brought in Jonah Williams. You might be like, no, that's not their long-term option. That's kind of their long-term option. So they're going to be keeping, sounds like they're keeping Paris Johnson at right tackle because I think Jonah Williams wanted to sign with a team that would play him at left. Not positive. Don't quote me. Let me know in the comment section down below. Baltimore Ravens, they brought in Jordan Morgan for a private workout, and I'm assuming they want to get him, have him play guard early with the hopes that maybe he's the heir apparent at left tackle. So we're snagging Jordan Morgan there for the Baltimore Ravens. So now we're seeing a run on offensive linemen. Tennessee Titans, nope, not yet. Carolina Panthers, pick 37. I still think I could get by with not taking a receiver. That's right. I mean, we pick at 39. My hope is okay, the Titans aren't going to take a receiver. They just traded for Tee Higgins. So if there's a wide receiver I currently fancy, then he's probably going to make it to 39. So I'm actually going to take an edge player. Another guy that I'm higher on than probably the general consensus, but Dan Brugler says he could be a surprise first-round pick. I love Marshawn Nealon. I'm going to add that to the Panthers because Clowney isn't a long-term option. Bona might be, but you still need another guy next to him. And I mean, Nealon's got a very versatile skill set just because of how strong and powerful he is. Tennessee Titans. Hey, I already traded once with the Titans. I'm going to trade again because there's a quarterback still on the board in Michael Penix. So as the Giants, yeah, I'm moving up for him. I'm going to reunite Michael Penix and Roman Dunze. But as the Giants, I was trying to see how I could maybe trade up at the back end of the first. It was just too expensive. They didn't really have the trade capital for that. And then I was trying to work trades like throughout, trying to move up to go and get Michael Penix. But nothing really worked out until this pick here for the Titans. So Titans are trading 38. The Giants are trading 47 and 107. And they're moving up. They're getting Michael Penix Jr. So ain't that wild, man. Michael Penix going to be throwing to his old wide receiver. I love it. I love it. Carolina Panthers staying put here. I like Ricky Pearsall. I really, really do. It could ultimately probably be a replacement for Adam Thielen to some regard, but I think he's got a bit. I think he can play outside a bit better than like a Ladd McConkey. Like McConkey, I feel like would be relegated to that slot role primarily. Pearsall, I think, can play outside. Like his release package is pretty nice. So there we go for the Panthers. Right, we're the Washington Commanders here. Holy moly. I actually really like this fit. Now, I'm going with an edge because I already traded for a tackle or moved up for a tackle in the first round. And now I don't really like the corner talent here. I'm going to be straight up. I don't like the corner talent early in the second round, or else I would have probably taken one of those guys. I kind of like it better for the Commanders at 67 and 78. I honestly think the corner talent in the third and fourth round is really good. But anywho, I'm taking an edge here. I'm taking a versatile body type in Darius Robinson, though I think he is at his best primarily playing outside of the tackle. And we're going to snag him there because Dante Fowler and who else did they bring in? Brought in Dante Fowler. Dorrance Armstrong is probably a long-term option, but Dante Fowler isn't. And if anything, he's more of a rotation. Oh, Cleveland Farrell. That's right. Yeah. Rotation. So let's try to swing on a starter. Green Bay Packers grabbed Cooper DeJean. And now here at pick 41, I think I'm going to take the swing on linebacker. Yeah, I'm going to be the first team to go out and take a linebacker. My current linebacker one is Edgerrin Cooper. That'd be a hella fun there on the defense for the Pack. Houston Texans. I had a tough time. I did want to trade down here, but I couldn't find a team to really trade up. Again, you need a dancing partner. Ultimately, I decided to go with the defensive interior. And this is a guy that, if you watched my top 200 big board, if you haven't, go watch that video. I talked about moving Michael Hall Jr. up, and that it just made so much sense. Well, I did eventually move him up, and I'm going to be taking him here for the Texans. They're getting a guy who's close to 300 pounds now. you know you're getting a really good pass rusher who, yes, needs to be a bit more refined in terms of his run discipline, his gap discipline. Miko Ryans is the right guy to help coach that into him. So I'm going to snag him here. Atlanta Falcons. I think this is where now you begin to start thinking about that next group of corners. And I'm going to go ahead and take TJ Tampa for the Atlanta Falcons. There you are. He's actually a good fit for Raheem Morris's scheme. I think he might end up being more of an off coverage corner. I like his footwork, and I think you're gonna want him in a very zone heavy scheme. Gives you length, gives you size. Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, either this is what's gonna happen, Raiders. This is what's gonna happen, Raiders fans. Either you're gonna love what I'm doing here, or you're gonna absolutely hate it. I like it. So you went out, you got a Marius Mims, who's going to be a really good run blocker, still kind of learning as a pass protector. Zamir White's nice. I'm sure the Raiders like Zamir White. I want to go ahead and like take the first run back off the board because I'm that much higher on Trey Benson than the rest of the running back class. It might not be sexy. I think it's real sexy. I mean, dude, Gardner Minshew's your quarterback. You're going to need to run the football. So we fortified the offensive line. You got Zamir White, but I'm trying to get a more dynamic running back in there. So we're going to do it. We're going Trey Benson. Raiders fans, let me know how much you love it. I don't think you will. But, hey, I mean, come on, you better be very sure that the run game is going to work. You got Uncle Rico at quarterback. And I mean, now you have this nice two-headed beast of Zamir White and Trey Benson. Forget Alexander Madison. Come on, guys. Let's be serious. Chicago Bears. I'm going to stay put here. I'm going to go ahead and take a center because currently they have Shelton Coleman, or is it Coleman Shelton? I always forget. And Ryan Bates battle it out for center. I think you could probably try to upgrade that. I think those are more stopgap or backup options. I'm going to go with Zach Frazier. Fortify that line. And I'm feeling really good about currently about the Bears draft. You got Jared Verse, Zach Frazier, Caleb Williams. Hell yeah, what a draft. Indianapolis Colts, we're going to stay put here. I'm going to get that vertical speedster that's a little bit different from Alec Pierce, especially in size. I'm going to go Xavier Worthy, man. I'm going to make sure that Anthony Richardson uses that big arm. And he uses it downfield. Tennessee Titans. We traded back, grabbed some extra draft capital. So look at that. Like, you got some picks here now at like 106, 107, 146. Cool. You got extra draft capital. I mean, to be fair, we just did a pick swap. We grabbed Tee Higgins. It was just a pick swap in the first round. And then we traded with the Giants. So we picked up 107. So we have one extra pick. Sorry. Regardless, I think I'm going to go with Peyton Wilson. Kenneth Murray, I don't like that. They got Gibbons. He's a nice, strong linebacker, that guy that can eat blocks in the run game. Let's just get that menace in terms of speed. I like it. Jacksonville Jaguars. We snagged Kool-Aid McKinstry. And now I think I want to get a radically different receiver than what they currently have on the roster outside of Zay Jones. And I'm kind of hoping to get better Zay Jones here in Keon Coleman. Cincinnati Bengals. So we grabbed Malik Nabers. And I think you got to take that swing at offensive tackle. And I'm actually going to go with Patrick Paul. He showed that he could play on the right side during the Senior Bowl, but still the tools are there. It's just another guy that needs a little bit more polish, but he has a ton of experience under his belt. So I think he might be a guy that ends up starting sooner rather than later. So I'm grabbing Patrick Paul here. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. We just saw two linebackers go off the board. So I'm going to go ahead and get in on this linebacker class. Snag Junior Colson, because I think there's a big 3 linebackers in this class, and then kind of the rest. So we're grabbing Junior Colson, because to be fair, they don't really have that guy that can take on tackles. Like, you got Devin White there, but he's more of a blitzer than someone that actually can take on blockers. They brought in Zach Braun, something like that. Who's basically the same. He's a former edge player that was trying to make it as an off-ball linebacker. Things started to click for him a little bit for the Saints last year. Nakobe Dean, he's not going to be taking on blocks, so you got Junior Colson to do that. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think this is where you take a shot at wide receiver. I like Jalen Polk in this offense. I really do. Guy that can work in the slot. He can work outside. He's a solid enough route runner who can really attack the field attack the field at all 3 levels. So, yeah, we're going with Polk. Big fan of Polk. We got the LA Rams. We took Olu Fashanu. Fashanu, because it's not Fashanu, but Fashanu. This is where I'm going to take my corner. I think Max Melton, very scheme diversive, but I like the speed. I like the ball skills, the ball production from him, so we're going to take him there. Seattle Seahawks, this is actually... I'm actually going to do a trade here. I'm going to do a trade because I'm hoping to get maybe a couple extra picks. I think Houston has shown interest in this cat. And currently, well, I'll talk about it once I make the pick. But I have Houston trading up. So we got 53 going to the Texans, going to the Texans, while the Seahawks pick up 59 and 123. Gonna send that trade there. Texans, I'm going Mike Sainris still. They've shown interest in him. Desmond Keene probably isn't the long-term option at slot, though he's really solid. And they have Miles Bryant as the backup there. Poo-poo. Let's go Mike Sainris still, dude. Like that. We got the Cleveland Browns. Man, y'all know we're going interior here. I'm going to swing on the upside of Rook Arahara, because they got a bunch of like 1-year, 2-year contracts there on the defensive interior. Miami Dolphins. I'm not going to lie. The board kind of fell my way. I'm going to get my interior. I'm going to take Christian Haynes. Immediately comes in there and is our starting right guard. Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to have a bit of fun with this pick, and I'm going to stick with Oregon. I'm not as high as Troy Franklin as some of the draft community is, but there's no denying, like, the guy is a very, very solid route runner, very good athlete, and we saw the ball skills in 2022. They did slip off this year, but I'm hoping that may be just a fluke. So we're going to add him to the wide receiver core here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did trade Carlton. I'm blanking on his name. Carlton Davis. There we go. And currently they have Zion McMullen or McCollum. I don't know. The cat that they drafted at Sam Houston State. I don't know if he's ready to go. Regardless, you had injuries with Jameel Dean and Carlton Davis last year. So I think let's just go ahead and grab some more cornerback depth. And I'm going to do that and take Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Indianapolis Colts. We got this pick via the Packers. I'm going to get some edge help. Another guy that has that good or relative athletic score. And I'm going to take Jonah Ellis. I think Kwity Paye is... They got to decide if they want to go with a 5th-year option on him. And they got to decide if they're going to re-sign Deo Odeyimbo. So, if they don't, bam. Jonah Ellis. Guy that probably could have been a first-round pick in 2025. Just, unfortunately, he had the injury late in the season. Couldn't really partake in the Shrine Bowl because of the injury, and then had to wait to have a private pro day. But someone that needs to put a little bit more meat on and a little bit more play strength. Okay, Seattle Seahawks, we traded back. Ultimately, I traded back because I knew I was going to go with a left guard here to challenge Lincoln Tomlinson. And I'm taking Cooper Beebe. Okay, we got the Buffalo Bills, and I'm taking a shot here. This cat is a top 50 prospect. Stupid DWI recently. Probably hurts his stock. I don't know if it takes him out of day 2 just because his size is so rare. And if I'm the Bills, I'm like, oh, shoot, we'll take a shot on that cat. We need some size in the middle. I'm going with Tavondre Sweat. Detroit Lions. This is where I'm going to go ahead and snag my my corner. I really do think Renardo Green is a really good fit schematically for Aaron Glenn. I'm going to take him there for the Lions. Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to stick with corner. And I'm going to go with Kamari Lassiter, a very polished corner that you're going to worry about the speed, but I think he could get by. If I imagine this scheme is going to be very similar to what Mike McDonald did last year, so we're going to see like a lot of quarters and whatnot. And that's fine for Lassiter. And even if he ends up moving to the slot, I think that's a-okay. He's a good ball player regardless. San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go ahead and just take a shot on a tackle. I'm going to go with the Toolsy Kieran Abagaji. Guy's got a lot of length. We got kind of robbed of him performing at the Senior Bowl. Really sucked. Really made me sad. Really wanted to see him against better competition. But in terms of size, tools, athleticism, I think he's got it. And then we're going to wrap things up here with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm just going to go with a safe pick. I'm going to get a running mate for Chris Jones on the interior. Question is, Chris Jenkins, Braden Fisk. You could swing on Fisk. You like the upside, you like the first step. But I kind of like Chris Jenkins. I think he's got that upside as well. He's just not fleshed out as a pass rusher, but he's a very good run defender. He's athletic. He's strong. I think I'm going to go with that there to the Chiefs, which wraps up the draft for us, guys. Holy schmoly. That was one heck of a mock draft. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, a lot of this, well, all of this is what I would do. That's why there's so many trades and whatnot. I'm going to have a 7-round mock draft out for you, hopefully Monday. And then Thursday morning, I'm going to have my predictive mock draft, what I think they're going to do. Those typically end up being more wrong than what I would do mock draft. It's kind of fun, kind of wild. But nonetheless, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.